Is it okay to have sex on a first date? If you want to, absolutely. Hi, I'm Olivia Petter. I am a writer, journalist, and author and podcaster of a show called Millennial Love, which is also the title of my book that examines the contemporary dating landscape. Valentine's Day is coming up, so Student Beans has asked me to answer some of your frequently asked questions all about sex and dating. Let's get started. What is the best way to end a relationship? There is no good way to end a relationship. It is a very difficult thing to do. I think the best thing to start with is to try and be really honest with your partner about why you no longer want to be with them. For example, don't just tell them that you don't fancy them anymore or that you don't want to sleep with them anymore, because that's going to be really difficult for them to recover from. If you can, try and blame it on yourself and try and make it not about the other person, and try and be as kind and considerate as you can be. How do you deal with a relationship ending? Again, it's a very difficult thing to overcome. Of course it is. I think heartbreak is one of the most difficult things that we go through in life, particularly when you've been with someone for so long, you're very used to having that person in your life. I think it's really important to go easy on yourself and remember that it's going to take time, and try not to think, oh, well, I'm just going to go out and get really drunk and get over them, because it's just going to come back and, bite you later down the line. I think it's best to confront your feelings really early on. What does a healthy relationship look like? I think a healthy relationship is different for everyone, but what you really want to go for is you want that person to be like your best friend. You want them to be your ultimate confidant. This has to be the person that you want to spend all your time with, the person you trust the most, the person who makes you feel safe and secure. I think a healthy relationship is also about healthy communication and feeling like you can talk to your partner about anything, any problem you have or any issue that has arisen in the relationship, because ultimately when you do bump heads and you do have any kind of conflicts, which you will inevitably have because every couple has disagreements, it's about how you handle them. And if you have a healthy relationship and a healthy degree of communication, then you will be able to overcome those problems together. Do you have to date? Is it a must or is it pressure? You absolutely don't have to date. Of course you don't. There is a pressure, I think, particularly on single women. We're kind of seen as a sort of social pariah, kind of, this Bridget Jones thing of, well, you must settle down, you must be with someone. Of course you don't have to, life is difficult, we go through all sorts of things. You might not feel like you're in a position to date, and that's fine. And you shouldn't start dating unless you feel comfortable and ready to, because if you do, it's not going to go well, and that's when you will make bad decisions about the person that you're dating. So it's best to make sure that you are absolutely ready to date before doing so. How do you deal with a long-distance relationship when you are both at uni? It's not easy. It's going to be really difficult because you will both be meeting new people. You will both be kind of in new situations where people might flirt with you, people might flirt with your partner. It is difficult. I think the most important thing to do is try and schedule some regular time to speak to them, and if you can, have a FaceTime or a Skype so that you can actually see each other's faces. Technology is brilliant and very good at aiding us communicate, as we know from the pandemic. So make the most of modern technology and try and get regular sort of date calls in to touch base with your partner and keep constantly communicating with them. Schedule in visits if you can, and make sure that you always know when you're next going to see them, so that you're not left wondering and you're not left missing them. I think it's really important to have that kind of consistency with someone when you're going long distance. Is it okay to have sex on a first date? If you want to, absolutely. Of course it is. You can have sex whenever you want to. If you and your partner both want to have sex on a first date, go for it. I think we overthink these things a lot, and we think, oh, if we have sex on the first date, we're going to ruin the relationship and we should wait because it's more meaningful. Sure, but ultimately, you just do what you want to do. And if you want to sleep with someone on the first date, sleep with someone on the first date. What is gaslighting? So this is a term that is used a lot nowadays. I think people use it far too lightly. But it's good that we're getting more of a conversation around it. Essentially, gaslighting is when you're in a relationship with someone and one of the partners questions your perception of reality. And the important thing to bear in mind when we talk about gaslighting is it's a form of manipulation. So if the partner who is telling you that your perception of reality is different, it's a way of manipulating you and controlling you, and it is an abusive form of communication. But it can be really subtle and it can be really difficult to spot. And actually, one of the ways that I think is always really good to notice gaslighting is on Love Island, because it happens a lot. The men, you can see them gaslighting their female partners. And I think that's really important to recognize, because you see it play out. Because, you know, as you can tell from the way I just said it, it's quite difficult to talk about. But it's important to recognize that it is a form of abuse and control and manipulation, and it is absolutely not okay. I'm nervous about having sex for the first time. How can I feel more comfortable? So the best thing to do is talk to your partner, I think. Let them know that this is your first time, if you feel comfortable doing that. And make sure that they are aware. And then, you know, if something doesn't feel right in the moment and something doesn't feel comfortable, you can tell them. Talk to your friends as well who have had sex and ask them, you know, any concerns or questions you might have. Ask them about contraception as well. You know, I think that's really important to understand. We don't really talk enough about that. If you want to go to a sexual health clinic to get on some form of regular permanent contraception, like the coil or the pill beforehand, that's okay, you can do that. But also remember that, you know, condoms should, you know, they're not just contraception, condoms should also be used to protect you against sexually transmitted diseases. So that is also important to remember, but ultimately it comes down to just talking to your partner and making sure that they know that this is your first time, and hopefully that will make you feel a little bit more comfortable. That's all the questions we have time for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any more queries, please leave them in the comments below. Remember to like this video and share and subscribe to our channel. And if you want to watch any more sex and relationships and dating content, head to the Student Beans YouTube channel. See you next time.